Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the, what's today's date? 4th of November 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite and NXT. And we're going to shift things up a little bit. I usually talk about AEW first, talking about NXT first because we're going to talk about NXT, then we're going to talk about Dynamite, and then I'm going to do my full gear predictions. So we're switching it all up. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Remember, if you're here with me on Twitch, then you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either subscribe to the channel with a tiered subscription, or if you have Amazon Prime, then you also have Twitch Prime. And if you have Twitch Prime, well, actually, it's now called Prime Gaming, but if you have Prime Gaming, you get to subscribe to any one channel that you want to subscribe to absolutely free, no extra cost to you. Also, you can give us a donation, hit that button down below, or you can give us some Twitch bits because everything we make here on Twitch does go back to help families in need that have been displaced from the Creek Fire. Creek Fire here in Central California devastated a lot of different families, some families that I am personally close with, and I really just want to help those families out any way possible, especially as we inch ever so closer to Christmas. But with that, let's move this over here. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. But before we talk about anything, we got breaking news of something that happened after Dynamite that didn't air on Dynamite. So, Dynamite went off the air. And as the show went off the air, Cody was speaking to the crowd and stated, as of this morning, I no longer have just one name. The crowd started chanting, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, where Cody did then end up saying, after starting to cry, Cody Rhodes is back. So with that, Cody is now going by Cody Rhodes again. He doesn't have to be Cody and Brandy Rhodes if he wants to use the name, or Cody and Dustin Rhodes. Nope. WWE basically canceled their trademark on the name. They had to reapply for it earlier this year, and then I think it was just this month, or maybe even just this week, they had to put the final paperwork in to prove that they still needed to own the name. And well, they didn't do that, and Cody got the name. So that's very interesting. Cody is now Cody Rhodes in AEW, no longer just Cody. So, hey, we'll talk about all that later. But let me fix this camera real fast. Just this shot. Got a new camera here. Still trying to figure all the kinks out. Oh, that's a little too high now. Oh, nope, that'll work. Adjust the microphone. Nope, I got to move it down just slightly. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had it. Oh, there we go. There we go. But with that, let's jump right in and start talking about NXT. Also, remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. We got NXT to talk about here. This is all the fallout from last week's Halloween Havoc show. And we did report here exclusively on PW Unlimited earlier today that this was going to be a by-the-numbers show. Nothing substantial was going to take place on tonight's show because Triple H knew that the ratings are going to be garbage, that everyone's still going to be watching the news for election coverage. And, well, anything that the creative team wanted to do big, wait till at least next week. And that's what happened tonight because next week we got 2 title matches taking place on NXT. But the show did start off with Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon. They grappled at the start until Moon fired up with a flurry of moves. She looked in control until being posted shoulder first. Kai targeted her shoulder. Kai applied an armbar, but Moon powered out to deliver a deadlift powerbomb. Moon made a comeback that built to Moon launching herself through the ropes with a tope as she crashed and burned on a second attempt of it, though. At one point, Dakota Kai countered a move to get Moon, I don't know why I keep saying Moon, to get a close near fall. Moon had a moment, about a moment later Moon hit a flying code breaker that got a near fall. Kai went back to targeting Moon's injured arm, though. As Moon was climbing the ropes, Gonzalez caused a distraction. That allowed Kai to trip up Moon. Kai executed a draping GTS kick and pinned Ember Moon to pick up the victory. So Ember Moon's already getting beat. She's back. Won last week, I think 2 weeks ago. She picked up a victory. And then this week, she's just getting beat. I don't know about that one. I really don't know about that. Excuse me. So going forward, Cameron Grimes was a little jumpy backstage. Mackenzie Mitchell spoke as she approached him for an interview. Grimes dismissed his haunted house match, saying it was not really a match at all. He was noticeably on edge, and he was trying to play it cool. I do want to say thank you to Rosario1983 for the Tier 1 subscription for 4 months. Really do appreciate that. 4 months at Tier 1. The referee came up to Grimes, I don't know why I read that wrong, to Grimes to tell him that his match is up next. It was the same ref who's in the haunted house as a zombie. So Grimes is a little frightened by this. I loved that. I thought it was great as he ran away in fear. He just ran away because he thought it was the zombie again. Going forward, after commercial break, Kenzie Mitchell was interviewing Shotzi Blackheart. They informed us that Shotzi chose Toni Storm to be her opponent tonight, and she was all happy to face Toni Storm. Like, she was giddy almost to face Toni Storm. But then we get into the match later, and there's beef? So next up, we had Kushida versus Cameron Grimes. Kushida and Grimes had a really good match here as Grimes begged off early. Kushida looked to ground him with some mat wrestling, and Grimes tried to use some dirty tactics. The pace soon quickened, and Kushida hit a hip toss transition into an armbar. Grimes fought back, though, and blocked it. At one point, Grimes cut Kushida off during the break. He was working over Kushida as the show returned from commercial, and Kushida railed into a comeback, but was cut off yet again. Grimes hit a sit-out powerbomb and got a 2 off of it. Kushida then applied his hoverboard lock, and Grimes tapped. No ref to see it, though. Grimes caught Kushida with a running one-man Spanish fly. Again, no ref. Another ref then ran in, but he was the one that was the zombie last week, and Grimes freaked out. He then ran around flailing his arms. Kushida then trapped him in the hoverboard lock, and Grimes tapped out to lose the match. Excuse me. Had a stuffed up nose all morning. I don't know. Well, not all morning, since the morning. So next up, we get Drake Maverick and Killian Dane against Everrise. The heat on Maverick early during this match. Meanwhile, Pat McAfee and company would arrive at the building. They soon would run into the ring, attack all the men in the ring, and, well, cause a disqualification. McAfee was filming with one of the handheld cameras as his heel faction beat down Maverick and Dane, and Everrise ran away. The show went to commercial, but before the break, the heels were just wrecking havoc. McAfee, when he came back, cut an amazing promo. Little long. I felt it was a little long. But he was saying that this is the new best 4-man group in all of professional wrestling. What makes them different than other factions is they're not a quote-unquote bunch of scumbags. They're men of class and they're professionals. Basically called them the kings of NXT. McAfee sarcastically said, tonight they honor the Undisputed Era. The group that came before them, that they ended. McAfee said that they will hang an Undisputed Era banner from the top of the building, kind of to signify that they're done, they're over, they're gone. Promo continued with McAfee burying the Undisputed Era. They went to raise the banner, and he goes, hold on. I'm no dictator. This is a democracy. Do we really want to do this? Do you guys want to raise this flag with me or no? And they were like, no. So instead, McAfee called for a trash can. McAfee threw the flag in the trash can. Pete Dunne poured some lighter fluid on it, lit it on fire. Boom. They burned the flag of the Undisputed Era, and then they left. So they're leaving. They're walking out the building. They go to get in their SUV, and Killian Dane approaches them and starts trying to beat him down. But it's 4-on-1. He's going after Pat McAfee, but the others come and get him. They beat him down, and then he gets trapped between the car door and the little door jamb. So Pete Dunne kicks the car door right into the face of Killian Dane. And Pat McAfee goes, "Oh, that was a little aggressive. We're going to have to talk about that one later." And then he looks down at Killian Dane and goes, "I'll see you later, hairy guy," or hairy man, or something like that. He makes fun of him being super hairy. But I just love Pat McAfee when he looks at Dunne after he kicks the door and goes, "Oh, that was a little aggressive. We're going to have to talk about that one later." They get in the SUV. They drive off, not to be seen again for the rest of the night. Johnny Gargano, the NXT North American Champion, cut a little comedy skit here. Gargano says he loves wheels after last week, and he was playing the game of life. He was playing with the same person that helped him in that match, wearing the Scream costume. It was just a funny promo. I thought this was great. Johnny Gargano was great. He's got comedic timing. And I'm going to say it right now. Just like we saw with Bayley, Johnny Gargano turning heel may have been the best thing for him because he's been just so amazing as a heel. I'm not saying he wasn't a great babyface, because he was, but there's just something that has been just a different level since he turned heel. Next up, we had Toni Storm versus Shotzi Blackheart, and early on in this match, commentary told us that Shotzi lost her tank. Her tank went missing, and now she thinks Toni Storm took it. So I go, hold up. Now there's beef between these two women? I thought that it was just Shotzi wanted to face Toni. Now there's beef. Shotzi wants to face her because she thought she stole her freaking tank that she comes down to the ring in because her brother's in the military and likes to watch her in it. What? Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I was in the military for 3 or 4 years and never once rode in a tank. I rode in a Humvee, but I never once rode in a tank. Well, not all people in the military ride in tanks. Trust me. No. 4 or 5 years. I forgot I didn't, thinking about it now, I didn't put in the time that I did for training as well. I only thought of my active time. So yeah, I never once rode in an actual tank. I don't even think I got inside of an actual tank. Again, got in a Humvee, or a Hummer as people call it, but I never once rode in a tank. I rode in plenty of buses in Iraq. Never a tank. Anyways, Blackheart slipped out of the... So, early on in this match, Shotzi's trying to go 1,000,000 miles a minute. She tries to do some sort of a springboard from the apron onto the ropes and into the ring, and just slips right on the ropes, crashes right down. Could have been catastrophic. Good thing it wasn't. The match went on through a commercial break, and Blackheart made a comeback. They traded near falls. In the closing moments of the match, saw Shotzi springboard off the ropes into a tornado DDT on the apron. Another crazy bump on the apron in a Shotzi match. I mean, she likes to do that. Storm then rolled up Blackheart with the bridge as we see... So I missed a paragraph here. So Shotzi's in control, and we hear, Shotzi, hey Shotzi, I found something for you. And it's Candice on the big screen. She found the tank. So she's like, don't worry, Shotzi, I found your tank. I'm going to watch it here till you get done and can come get it. So Shotzi's distracted. She gets rolled up by Toni Storm. 1, 2, 3, Toni Storm wins. Candice then starts laughing. Ha ha ha. What happened? You got beat already. What? Or something like that. I didn't write down exactly what she said. But she goes, I can't wait here all night for you. Cars may be, oh my God, a car's coming. And a big old lifted Hummer pulls up. And Candice walks around to the side of it and gets in. Then she proceeds to try to run over the tank. But for like 30 to 45 seconds, the tank gets stuck under the front wheel, the passenger side wheel. And she's just pushing it. And finally, she like shifts it into second gear or something. and then it goes over the tank and destroys the tank. Shotzi's screaming, "No!" And Toni Storm's behind her looking like, "What's the big deal? What's going on?" And Shotzi's just screaming, "No!" She collapses to her knees. Toni goes to console her. Bada bing, bada boom, segment's over. I think this is leading to a tag match. Shotzi and Toni against Candice and Scream, who I believe is going to be Indy Hartwell in the long game. So going forward, we got a live edition of the Thatcher's Catch Can Wrestling. And this started and I go, oh, this is not going to be good. This is going to be another one of them dumb things that they've been doing with Timothy Thatcher. And it did start off kind of dumb, but got good towards the end. So he's doing this Thatcher's Catch Can Wrestling. And I didn't catch the name of the student or anything, but he's beating down the student, puts him in a Fujiwara armbar or whatever. And all of a sudden, Anthony Guarini runs out to make the save because Timothy Thatcher wouldn't release the hold. Anthony Guarini throws Thatcher or kicks him out of the ring. Thatcher gets really pissed off. Guarini kind of like ushers in like, "You gonna come at me? You gonna come at me?" But Thatcher thought better of it and left. So they're doing something with Anthony Guarini and Timothy Thatcher, and I really like that they're doing something with Anthony Guarini, not just, oh hey, he was one of the students that got his ass beat and tried to fight back, and then nothing ever happened. So I really liked that a lot. The NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai has made a challenge to Rhea Ripley, saying that she will put her title on the line against Rhea, and Rhea has accepted. I don't know when that match is going to happen, but the next time we do see either of these women, they'll be fighting for the title. Speaking of title matches, 2 title matches were announced for next week's show. We did learn that Johnny Gargano, they're not interchangeable. Johnny Gargano will be defending the NXT North American Championship against a so far unannounced opponent. And someone asked me on Twitter, hey, is that going to be, Damian Priest's rematch? I don't think so. Because if it was, we'd be getting that announcement. They would say, Damian Priest getting his rematch next week, blah, blah, blah. But who is getting their rematch? Breezango. Breezango will be challenging Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan with the NXT Tag Team titles on the line. Then we move on to our main event, NXT. No title. What am I thinking? Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream. So, early on, Ciampa pummeled Dream to start this match. And Ciampa attacked the hand with the cast on it. I don't get why Dream is coming out here wrestling with his damn cast on. It makes absolutely no sense to me that he's doing this. He complains that he's getting hurt because they're targeting the hand. Well, don't come out here until the cast is off, idiot. He's getting pummeled and he gets thrown out of the ring. And then in a stupid move, he smacks the announce table and then goes, ow, dummy. So, the match went to commercial break pretty early on. And after the break, Dream cut off Ciampa with a spine buster. Ciampa had a rally and delivered a flurry of offense. Ciampa then gave Dream a superplex, but Dream kicked out at 2. Dream hit a plancha to the outside. They got back into the ring with a spot where Dream suplexed Ciampa over the ropes and out of the ring. Dream then threw a chair into the ring, but he didn't actually use it. Instead, he jumped off the top rope where Ciampa hit him with a jumping knee lift. Ciampa then followed this up moments later with a Widow's Bell, then a fairy tale ending, and picked up the victory. Tommaso Ciampa does go out here and defeat the Velveteen Dream. That was NXT, a very paint-by-numbers show. Nothing. I think the biggest thing that happened really was Candice destroyed the tank. Other than that, nothing major happened on the show. We built up a new feud. And if you're going to think, why is Candice so mad at Shotzi? Shotzi cost her the belt last week. So, that's why. But that was NXT. Let's check the poll here. As far as what you guys thought of tonight's NXT. Did you like it? Did you hate it? 86% of you said you liked tonight's NXT. Wow. 7% of you said you didn't like it. And 7% of you said it was all right. Not bad, not bad. Also, why does this camera look out of focus? There we go. That looks better. A lot better. Still dialing in these settings, because the settings on the camera are different than the settings I get when I plug it into the computer. But with that, talk about AEW Dynamite. Let's throw up a new poll for Dynamite. Let's go manage poll. Start a new poll. What did you think? Whoop, that's spelled wrong. Wouldn't be PWU if something was spelled wrong. Of tonight's Dynamite. I liked it. It was alright. I didn't like it. I'm going to say it right off the bat here. One last second. I'm going to say it right off the bat here. I like Dynamite better than NXT tonight. I don't know what you guys felt, but I thought that Dynamite was the better show. Of course, we do know that NXT wasn't really trying tonight, and Dynamite had to basically build up their pay-per-view. So with that, Dynamite started off with Jericho and MJF. So they're all in the back, ready to come out because we got matches and people joining commentary and everything. And MJF and Wardlow approaches Jericho, and Jericho called MJF soft. He said, "You know what? I'm thinking about it. I don't know if you have what it takes to be in the inner circle." He said, "Look at Jake Hager right here. 2 black guys still won his fight." Talks about Sammy, talks about Santana and Ortiz, and he said, "You, MJF, you may just be a little too soft. May not have that killer instinct to be part of the inner circle." So Jericho would then come out to join commentary, and MJF and Wardlow also came out for their upcoming match against Sammy Guevara and Ortiz. So going forward with this match, MJF starting off with Ortiz, but immediately tagged out to Wardlow. No shocker there. Wardlow did some power spots and cut Ortiz off. MJF and Wardlow worked over Ortiz. Business then picked up when Sammy Guevara got the hot tag and ran wild. He had a corkscrew tope suicida and another crazy flip dive. MJF and Guevara ended up the legal men at one point. They were having a nice little exchange when MJF used a thumb to the eye. Guevara came back with the GTH. Wardlow broke up a potential pin though. At one point, Wardlow cut off Guevara and Ortiz and hit him with a stacked up superplex powerbomb. Wardlow got the tag and hit an F10 on Ortiz. Guevara broke up a pin with a frog splash. Guevara rolled outside and got a chair thrown into his head by someone wearing a Serpentico mask. He then unmasked and we learned that it was Matt Hardy. With Guevara out of it, MJF used the salt of the earth on Ortiz to pick up the victory. So with that, MJF and Wardlow do win. After the match, MJF then ran over to commentary and went after Chris Jericho at the commentary desk. They had to get him pulled off by a bunch of referees and whatnot. Cool. Build up towards the pay-per-view. Next up, Tony Schiavone did a sit-down interview with Kenny Omega at home. Omega said that he's temporarily relocated to Jacksonville to focus on the tournament finals this coming weekend. Kind of smart by Kenny to get a little place here in Jacksonville. If you can afford it, why not? Then you ain't got to travel. I think that's a great idea. I think JR's done the same thing. Got himself a little condo on the beach. So Omega cut a little heelish promo here that he was destined to win this tournament and become AEW World Champion. Next up, we had Miro versus Trent. I thought the match was okay. Haven't liked the backstory of this. It's kind of hokey and lame. Nothing great here, but both guys worked well together. They showed highlights of a stream where Excalibur moderated a back and forth between Miro and Trent, and the two just argued the whole time. Trent said Miro was his young boy when they were in FCW, and he was going to make Miro his young boy again tonight. If you don't remember, Trent Barretta Used to be in WWE back in like 2011. He was even called up to SmackDown. You guys remember that? A lot of people don't. So Miro began dominating from the outside of the bell. Chuck and Sabian got into it on the outside. Chuck chased Sabian away. During a commercial break, Penelope and Orange confronted each other. Penelope slapped Orange Cassidy. Orange put Penelope's sunglasses on. Also during the break, Dark Order ran out and attacked Orange Cassidy. Miro ordered them away. After the commercial break, Trent came back with a clothesline and a half-and-half suplex. He followed this up with a tope con Grillo. Trent hit a tornado DDT and a running knee strike for a near fall. Miro, though, cut Trent off with a high kick and used the game over submission to pick up the victory. To be honest, I'm a little over this Miro the Gamer stuff. Yeah, he streams on Twitch, plays FIFA and whatnot, but it's like, I get it. The whole thing is a knock on WWE. He's a gamer that streams on Twitch, and his company allows him to do it with no restrictions. I get it. But it's kind of dumb. So after the match, Chuck and Kip ran back out, like they were just chasing each other around the building till they came back. Sabian and Miro laid out Chuck and Trent. Cassidy then hit a dive off the post to Miro and Sabian to make the save. There we go. That looks a little better. So next up, JR sat down with Hangman. Page showed up with a drink in his hand. Basically asked him, you ever go anywhere without a drink? Page said that he was going to kick Omega's ass on Saturday. JR said that he thought Page was nervous and trying to take the edge off with the alcohol. Page admitted that, yeah, he may be a little nervous and he's trying to downplay it. JR told Page, moderation is going to be important. I think Jericho even talked about how he beat Hangman Page with the title on the line, when they had that first title match, and it was a hard-fought victory for him. And he's also beaten Kenny Omega, so he knows what it takes to beat both guys, and he knows that Hangman's going to have to go in there at 100%, not hungover, not drunk, not sauced up or anything, if he wants to beat Kenny Omega, because he knows what it takes to beat both guys. So I thought that was cool insight. So next up, Taz came out, cut a great promo, basically called Tony Khan Vince McMahon, though. So Taz comes out, and he's mad that neither of his boys are on the pay-per-view this week. And he said, I sat in front of Tony Khan's office for 2 hours today before some stooge came and told me that he's busy with somebody else that's booked for the pay-per-view. That's a Vince McMahon thing. You hear the stories all the time. Oh, I sat in front of Vince's office for 3 hours today to pitch an idea, and he wouldn't even speak to me because he was eating a steak dinner. Someone came up and said, oh, Vince is too busy. You hear that story all the fucking time. Taz, why? Tony Khan, Vince McMahon, two different people. Taz said that he believes that Khan's ranking system's a joke. He said Cage is 10-1, and Starks on a winning streak, not even ranked in the top 5. Starks and Cage both did chime in. Taz then said, Cody versus Darby Allin on Saturday. On Saturday, they'll be watching. They'll be there. Cody only got this because he's entitled. He's an EVP that gets whatever he wants. He said Cody talks about doing the work. Well, Team Taz does the work, and they'll be watching that work come this Saturday. Cool. We're going to get probably Cody retain. Well, I don't know. So here's my thing. If Cody retains, probably going to challenge next against Cage. If somehow Darby wins, he's probably going to defend against Ricky Starks. That's just the way it looks like it's going. So going forward, Private Party entered with Matt Hardy for their upcoming match against the Young Bucks when Sammy Guevara would attack Hardy from behind. Referees tended to Hardy during an ad break. Party was taken to the back. So we got the Young Bucks versus Private Party. This is a rematch from the second ever episode of AEW Dynamite. I thought this was a good match with a lot of action. The story was that the Bucks barely escaped with a win before their big match on Saturday. And remember, last time, Private Party won. So both teams went back and forth early, hitting tandem team offense. Private Party hit some cool tandem dives, and the Bucks were in control after a commercial. Private Party started their comeback after the break and worked over Nick's back and the leg of Matt Jackson. The finish came when the Bucks went for the Meltzer driver. Cassidy pulled Nick off the apron. Quinn then rolled up Matt with a cradle, but couldn't get the pin. Finally, the Bucks hit the BTE trigger, and Matt pinned Quinn to pick up the victory. So the Bucks are celebrating in the middle of the ring when they're attacked from behind, well, by the tag team champions, FTR. FTR beat them down. They teased Pillmanizing Matt's leg again, but actually didn't because the Hangman and Omega ran down to make the save. Hangman ran in on time. Omega ran in late. Page had the opportunity to hit Omega with the chair, had it in his hands, all ready to do it, weaken his opponent before the pay-per-view, but he didn't do it. Omega and Page each stared each other down as the segment ended. Next up, we got the best thing of the night. This was amazing, and this is perfect. We got Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston. This was perfect, like I stated, and it didn't go on long. Sometimes when you get these kinds of segments, it's like they drag on and drag on and drag on, but this one didn't. They both said what they needed to say and got the fuck out of there. Tony Schiavone announced both guys. Eddie Kingston came out first. Moxley came out second. Finally, Eddie Kingston kicked Tony Schiavone out. Said, I don't need you. First thing Kingston did when he entered was literally touch foreheads with Moxley. And I go, ooh, COVID. I get it. It's called intensity. But still. Anyways, strong promos here. Kingston said that he was going to take the title from Moxley and take it back to his mom and explain that this title in pro wrestling is why she has no grandchildren. This title in pro wrestling, why she doesn't have a daughter-in-law. It's all because of this. He's dedicated his entire life to pro wrestling and finally winning a world title. He also said that Moxley broke a promise to his mother as well. Moxley said that he was happy for Kingston when he signed with AEW. Kingston said, no, you weren't. Moxley said, yeah, I was happy for you. He said that he's like, I made a promise to your mother to protect you in this business, and I must have broken that promise, because look who you've become. He said his mom's name, I forget exactly what it was, and he said, hey, don't bring up my mother. Don't say my mother's name. Moxley said, I sat at that table. I had that dinner. I said my prayers with your mother, and I broke that promise. But this coming Saturday at the pay-per-view, you will be the one to say I quit. And Kingston just said, you're going to have to kill me. 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 Then get a video from Pac, all the way from the UK. Basically said, hey, I'm alive. I'm still signed to the company. I don't know when I'm coming back. Because they did nothing to say, Pac, coming back in 2 weeks. Pac, coming back next week. Nope, it was just, I'm alive. I'm here. I'm stronger than ever, and I've been gaining strength and wisdom in isolation. That was it. It was okay. One of them overproduced segments. The video where they filmed it at a bunch of different places, and then they said, hey, I learned some new editing tricks this week. Let's throw it on this video. So in the back, Alex Marvez was with the Natural Nightmares. Dustin cut a promo. The Bunny then walked up and thanked QT Marshall for the gifts, but said that his credit cards, they've now been maxed out. Butcher and Blade would run in and attack the Natural Nightmares with weapons. We then learned that next week, the Butcher and the Blade will be taking on the Natural Nightmares. Well, cool. It all stems from QT loving Allie, Allie turning on him, going back with her husband, the Butcher. No, the Blade. Yeah, the Blade is her husband. Frickin' Braxton Sutter. So next up, we got Nyla Rose against Red Velvet. And I guess Red Velvet is now with Brandy. They teamed on Dark this week, and now Brandy was in her corner tonight. They showed Hikaru Shida in the front row and barely acknowledged that she's the women's champion. The Rose dominated this match with some power spots. Red Velvet kind of got some offense. She tried for a top rope Rana. Rose caught her, hit her with the Beast Bomb. Pinned her 1-2, not quite. Picked her up, slammed her again, and then pinned her after hitting her with the Shining Wizard, Hikaru Shida's finish. After the match, Vicky Guerrero cuts a promo, and I bet you everybody switched the channel. Vicky looks at Brandy and looks at Red Velvet and says, "You're going to come down here with her, the CBO of All Elite Wrestling? She should be the CBSO, the Chief Bullshit Officer." Brandy gets all mad, goes to step to Vicky, and Nyla Rose gets in the way. And she goes, "I don't got time for you. We got bigger things to talk about." And she goes over to Shida, and she basically taunts Shida, says that Nyla Rose is going to take the title from her at the pay-per-view, and then the two start to brawl. And this was a nothing segment. I have no hype for this match coming at the pay-per-view this weekend. I honestly would rather see the buy-in match on the main card and this match on the buy-in. If you guys are unaware, on the buy-in, we'll be seeing Serena Deeb defending the NWA Women's World Championship against Allison Kay. That match should be really good. Two great wrestlers. And I'm not knocking Nyla, I'm not knocking Hikaru Shida, but I just think Serena and Allison Kay are better than these two. But I get it. It's not an AEW belt, so you can't put the AEW belt on the pre-show if you got another match for another brand's championship. It just makes sense. So going forward, we got an awesome hype video hyping up Omega versus Paige. It was also announced that next week, Pentagon will be taking on Phoenix. It'll be their second encounter in a month-ish. We then got a Darby Allin hype video. Allin ran over a guy wearing a Cody mask in a car. Allin was then shown sitting in the crowd, sitting way up as high as he could with the spotlight on him. Darby Allin's just Sting now. And I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I'm just going to say Darby Allin was trying to be like Sting. I'm going to leave it at that. We had our main event. It was Cody, Billy, and Austin Gunn against Colt Cabana, John Silver, and 10 of the Dark Order. Thought the match was okay. To me, it wasn't a AEW Dynamite main event caliber match. It was just a fun match. All the guys worked well, but it wasn't like a great match that we usually see in the AEW Dynamite main events. So Billy Gunn started off this match, and I think it was Jericho that said he still looks the same he did 15 years ago, big, swollen, jacked. I was wrong. No, Billy didn't start the match. Cody started the match with John Silver. Cody quickly had the advantage here as Austin Gunn tagged in and had a lot in this match. This was basically, I thought this was going to be a Cody showcase. No, it was an Austin showcase. So Cabana and Austin did some comedy stuff, sunset flip spot during a commercial break, and 10 tagged in. Billy got the hot tag and hit a famouser on 10 for a near fall. The match broke down and everyone hit their big moves. Cody hit a dive to the floor on Cabana. Silver went for a tope on Cody, but he got caught and thrown into the crowd. Then Austin Gunn hit the crossroads on Cabana, then hit the quick draw on 10 and picked up the victory. Austin Gunn, in his first official Dynamite match, picks up the victory in the main event. Kudos for Austin. I don't know where this is going with Austin Gunn. I know him and Billy are part of the Nightmare family now, whatever that fucking means. But yeah. The rest of the Dark Order then appeared after the match, teasing climbing in the ring. Silver grabbed a chair. Cody ran out and hit Silver with an orange punch. Cody then closed the show with a good promo about Darby Allin, basically saying that I didn't really write this down. Cody said something along the lines like, he doesn't like spreading false stories. He said Allen's claim that TNT doesn't want him as the face of the TNT title, that's not true. Cody said if it was up to him, he would make Darby Allin the champion, but well, he's the champion, doesn't want to give up the belt. Cody said he's the one who floated Darby Allin's name around to get him signed in AEW when nobody else thought he was good enough. Cody said to prove that Darby was good enough, he had to wrestle him himself. He said he's the guy who left the Empire and went to war, and he pisses everybody off because he's been winning. Basically, he said, I left WWE, and now we're better than WWE. I mean, he left the Empire, started a war, and is now winning. I mean, if that's not clear cut, hey, WWE, fuck you, because of what he says after the show, okay. Cody then said, Allen wants the ace belt, but he's not the ace. And the show went off the air. And then apparently afterwards, if you were watching internationally, you saw Cody talk about now being Cody Rhodes. But with that, that was AEW Dynamite. Let's see what you guys said in the poll. Excuse me. 75% of you said you liked Dynamite. 13% said you thought it was just all right. And I lost my pen. And 13% also said you didn't like Dynamite. But with that, guys, we've got Full Gear to talk about this coming Saturday, live on pay-per-view, live on BR Live, live on Fight TV internationally. As of right now, 9 matches have been announced. 8 on the main card, 1 on the pre-show. So let's give some predictions as far as what I think is going to happen at the pay-per-view. First off, we do have on the kickoff show, or the buy-in as they like to call it, Serena Deeb will be defending the NWA World Women's Championship against a former champion in Allison Kay. I think Serena Deeb retains the title. I think she keeps that belt. Next up, we do know that Orange Cassidy will be taking on John Silver. This is a toss-up. I don't know really who to go with here. I'm just going to pick Orange Cassidy, since they've, on Dynamite, used him more seriously. Next up, we do have Chris Jericho against MJF. If MJF wins, and he gets to join the Inner Circle. And this is another one that's kind of hard to predict. I don't know if you go Jericho and just say, fuck it, it's over. Or you go MJF. Okay, you have to go MJF. I'm going to say it right now. MJF has to win. Because then he has to join the Inner Circle. Then he has to go out and try to take over the Inner Circle, become their new leader, and go from there. So I think MJF has to pick up the victory here. In an Elite Deletion match, Matt Hardy will be taking on Sammy Guevara. Again, another hard one to predict, but let's go Matt Hardy. Why not? In the finals of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament, we do have Kenny Omega against Hangman Page. And as much as I would like to see Hangman win and get another shot at the belt, it's going to be Kenny Omega, because we're building the Kenny versus Moxley with Kenny winning the title possibly next year at Revolution. With the AEW Women's World Championship on the line, Hikaru Shida will be defending against Nyla Rose. I don't care either way. That's how bad they've ruined their women's division. I could care less who wins. So why not just have Hikaru Shida retain? Why not? Here's my prediction. Hikaru Shida retains babyface champion. Britt Baker gets a shot, wins the belt, heel champion. Can't do that if Nyla's the champion, heel versus heel. Well, you can, but I don't think they would. Next up with the TNT Championship on the line, Cody will be defending against Darby Allin. This is hard. This was probably the hardest one to predict. Cody has beaten Darby a bunch already. So if you look at it that way, Darby has to win. Cody also said Darby's not the ace. Well, Darby's going to want to redeem himself. It's a redemption story, and he's going to want to become that ace. So you know what? I'm going to say Darby wins the belt. Darby, TNT champion. Next up with the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line, FTR defeats the Young Bucks. It's too early to take titles off FTR, but I think to further this story, Young Bucks have to win. I think the Young Bucks have to win to further this story. FTR then goes wild, takes the Bucks out again, hurts them, and then gets the titles back. We do a little flip-floppy here, but I think with AEW, it'll make sense. And finally, with the AEW World Championship on the line in an I Quit match, Jon Moxley defending against Eddie Kingston. And do I even have to say it? Jon Moxley. Because I really believe we're building towards Moxley Kenny with the title on the line. Kenny wins the tournament. Moxley retains the title. We eventually get Kenny versus Moxley with the title on the line, with Kenny winning the belt. So Jon Moxley wins here tonight. But with that, guys, those are my predictions for this coming Saturday's AEW Full Gear pay-per-view. We'll be live following Full Gear right back here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, talking about that whole show. With that, before we do go, we got some text messages here to read. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. Person here says, do you think Cody is going to turn heel soon? No. I think Cody may do heelish things. Like last week when he was trying to tell us that he's better than everybody, that he's an EVP and has too much work to do to talk and do interviews. He might say some heelish things, but Right. So this person here says that Jericho said that he beat Hangman when he was sober. Correct. Kind of what I said. I just didn't say the word sober. He beat Hangman at his best. So, like I said, Jericho said that he beat Hangman at his best, so Hangman can't go out there drunk or hungover or intoxicated or anything. He's got to be at his best because he knows what Hangman's best is, and Hangman's best may almost not be enough to beat Kenny Omega. This person says, is there a chance we'll see Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee and his team in War Games? I believe so. And the person says, who should Finn face next for the title? Karrion Kross may be coming back soon. Just saying. He may be cleared soon. That's what I've been hearing. Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, that'd be a great match. And this person here says, who do you think challenges Johnny next? I think it's big name since it's being built up as a mystery. I honestly don't know. And I don't think it's going to be a big name. I think it's going to be Johnny Gargano picking his opponent, picking somebody that he thinks he can beat, that he's going to go out there and beat, and then be like, oh, look, I defended the title. Because we got the thing of Johnny can't defend his belt. Johnny can win a belt, but he can't successfully defend it. So Johnny's going to pick an opponent that he knows he can beat and go, hey, look, I won. And then someone's going to really come out and challenge him, whether that's Damian Priest or somebody else, and go, yeah, you won, but you didn't win against a good wrestler. You didn't win against somebody with a name. But with that, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of the AEW NXT review. I want to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Ooh, my eye won't stop watering. Remember, you can follow us on YouTube if you missed any of this or our previous streams, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. You can also follow us on social media, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. With that, guys, we'll be live again this coming Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Then we'll be live on Saturday for AEW Full Gear. Have a great night, guys. And I'll see you next time. All right.